Hey everybody, it's the weekend, Friday. Can't believe it's already the 14th. We're almost halfway through, kind of. And I just want to give you uh, a few things to consider before the weekend, a couple of updates, and a couple of suggestions as to how to proceed. So just practically speaking, first of all, the Dropbox on the first two assignments have closed. That means you cannot submit them or update them. The essay slash speeches, so the last two units from, sorry, the last two assignments from Unit 1, I am leaving open till Monday because a lot of you haven't got feedback on them, and that's kind of unfair. Going through 40 essays takes quite a bit of time, as does going through 40 speeches where I'm listening to, 5 to 7 minutes from a lot of people, and then trying to give constructive feedback on that. So I just thought I would give you more time to work on those, and to rework those takes some time as well. So just to be fair, those will be open a little bit longer till Monday evening at 11:30, and I will try to, like, the essays are pretty much done. The speeches are trying to get you back to you as soon as possible. The Shakespeare unit is always difficult for people. Okay, a couple questions you need to ask yourself before you email me questions. Question one: have you read this play? That is a big part of this. If you have not read the play, it is going to be very difficult to have any sense of what's going on in these assignments, okay? Second of all, are you able to research things by yourself? If you have not noticed yet, the content sections of these shells are quite superficial. Compared to, let's say, you were doing this unit in a class and you'd be working in a computer lab for days on one of these skills, right? Like blocking the scene, for instance. So a lot of what needs to be done, if you're unsure of the material, is there's nothing preventing you from learning more. You don't need to stay within the shell. I mean, even to get the text, you can't stay within the shell. Like, you need to find a copy of the play, but they're everywhere, right? So I'm going to give you an example. So for blocking the scene, let's say, right? If I just go and type in blocking the scene in a play. How to block a play. Stage direction. So there's that. I've already looked at this one. Blocking a movement. Blocking. So you can go to Wikipedia, obviously. But I've tried this site before. So this guy is, I don't know, some guy. And he has this whole series of blog posts about blocking and movement. And he talks about how blocking is an area overlooked by actors. Many beginners believe this responsibility rests solely with the director, but it's the actor who knows his character best, and good directors seek out this input during early readings and rehearsals. And so they talk about how blocking should make the dramatic or comedic purpose of the scene so clearly apparent to the viewer that even a deaf man can understand it. Wow, bold statement. Anyways, so he goes through, and the nice thing about this is he talks about attitude, he talks about stage orientations, he gives some visuals here. He looks at body positions. He looks at blocking positions and the way symbols can be used. I mean, you can learn just a ton about this subject, assuming that you want to. Implementing choices. So, again, to read this whole article is going to take you about 8 minutes, and then you would have, like, just such a better, more thorough understanding of it. And that was like just one Google search. So again, I don't mean to be critical of people and suggest that you need, that nobody's working hard. I just sometimes you don't understand that. Oh, that's not the right text at all. I'm sorry. But sometimes you just don't seem to understand how much information is at your fingertips. And as an online course, part of the skills you're trying to learn is both navigating the shell, but not just restricting yourself to it. And the same thing can be said for being a director. I know none of you are directors, and I know that this is a very challenging assignment compared to a straightforward essay about it. But you've already wrote an essay. How many essays do you want to write, right? And in a lot of ways, this allows you to use a different skill set and it might be one you're less comfortable with, but it might be one you actually can surprise yourself by and have a lot to offer. Much like the creative assignments as well, like writing iambic pentameter, which is a very simple form, but the content can come out in all sorts of different ways. Okay, um, so the general principle is when you're submitting something, include more work. If you've done more work, include it. A lot of people send me questions saying like, should I include these questions? Well, probably if you do the questions in the content area, those questions will contribute to your understanding. And if you've already done them, why not show me that you've done them? Because it will look more impressive, right? There's no way that you could get faulted for giving me too much information. You could be faulted for, let's say, making a 45-minute video when I asked for a 3-minute video, but that's a whole other story. Midterm marks will go in Monday. Don't read into your midterm marks too much for a couple reasons. First of all, I'm going to include 6 marks, so all of Unit 1 and then part of Unit 2, meaning the speaking the lines and writing the lines. That's less than 40% of your overall mark because your culminating is worth 30%, remember? And then there's also still another unit, or maybe it's about 40% of your mark, but one way or the other, I tend to flatten your marks. And by flatten, I mean if you have a 98, I tend to put on the report card 90. If you have a 55, then I tend to make it 60. In some cases, if you haven't handed in anything, I will put a minimum mark or something like that just to show you that this is like very serious and that you might not pass the class. Okay, so that's it for now. Again, keep the emails coming. Sometimes my responses to you are not helpful. I realize that, but oftentimes the reason they're not helpful is because I don't feel like you've done the due diligence to ask me a real, like a well-researched question. Whereas the more specific you are asking me, so for instance, someone's like, I don't understand this assignment. Can you help me? That to me, it's not that it's a stupid question. It's just a question that I won't be able to help you out with without launching into like an 8-minute email, which I quite frankly just won't have time to do. But if you say, sir, in Act 3, Scene 1, I'm struggling with this concept, or in this question, it's asking me to articulate this, but I don't understand what this word means. Can you interpret that for me? A much more manageable task for me. Okay? So have a great weekend, everyone. Best of luck. Keep the questions coming, and I will post something next week. Hopefully all those marks are, hopefully I'll get you as much feedback to you as possible as soon as possible as well. Okay? Take care.